all of our processed food, which is killing everyone.
Yeah.
Basically, but we make soil restoration. We make the organic growers and the permaculture. Those are our friends. Those are the people who are compatible with our climate control, and we are also organic. Inside the PyraPOD, we're organic.
Yeah.
We're reconnecting with nature.
Yeah.
And all that grain is not natural. It's very synthetic. So, but it's supplying about 70% of all of our food. So,
unfortunately,
warfare crops.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, is it like that up there too? I mean, here in North America, I mean, it's a horror story. I mean, do you all have? Excuse me for being ignorant, but do you have a lot of cows there? Do you have like cattle ranching there, like in Iceland?
Well, we talking with who? Me?
Yeah. Like in Iceland, do you have cattle ranching there?
Yeah, but it's mostly just free range. So
yeah, it's grass. It's a grassland, So again, we're not like coming against the grassland farming either. That's ranching. That's okay too. That's like.
Our biggest interest is just sheep.
Sheep.
Roaming free in the highlands.
Wait, you guys, wait a minute. Your big thing is sheep?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever seen that Icelandic wool? Those sweaters, they're fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of, but I mean, we're so used to cattle down here. We kind of look down on sheep. I mean, that's the way it is in America. We're the big cowboy hats, about this big,
Yeah. But it's like sheep is not. We have quite unique breed of sheep that is unique in the world, and of course it has been free for hundreds and even thousands of years, just roaming free in the country. So it's like it's as pure as meat as it gets.
You got Iceland, you got New Zealand, you got Ireland, all focusing on sheep. They're beautiful places.
So pardon me for asking, man, but if these sheep are roaming free, how do you have somebody like runners to catch them? If they're roaming free, how do you catch?
Well, it's a bit of a mystery, but they always tend to come back. But some are kind of more free-minded than others, and they just prefer to stay in the highlands. But most of them.
Fortunately, there's no wolves in Iceland.
No, there are no predators, no deadly insects or anything. So.
Wow. Okay. So now I understand, man. It's been a long. I have really wondered why you guys stopped bikening and how you got so nice. Now I understand. You befriend the sheeps.
Yes.
And that made you befriend other people, right?
Yeah.
That's how you did it.
But the main meat industry in Iceland is of course fishing, and fishing is something that has kept the life of our. I mean, we wouldn't be here if it would be for the rich oceans around Iceland. So.
Wow. All right. Before we jump in real deep here, y'all, I want to reveal the infographic, the new infographic for the BirthPOD.
Okay.
This is I have an artist here who's been working on this, and this is going to be. I think it's going to be really good to sell. The whole thing. Anywhere we put this, man, I think this is going to be real convincing for people. So let me see here. Go back to.
Okay, Gregory, I'm stream pushing it to my channel. So
okay.
you tell me when you want me to stop, okay? Because go
right.
to the secret part, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I share screen now?
Yeah, you just click the left corner. There's 3 buttons, right? There's a screen button in the middle.
Yeah.
middle of the three.
It says more actions, view
Yeah.
full screen.
Yeah.
View full screen?
Well, you can several
Yeah,
options. The
yeah.
entire screen or certain screen. You know, that's a
Okay.
program.
I'm gonna press view full screen here.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do the setup for this because some people have not seen what what I sent over
Okay.
to Richard. There's a study from something called the Global Voice for Women's Health. This was out several years ago. It says access to clean water is a human right, essential for public health, but around 2.1 billion people worldwide have no safe and convenient water source at home. It says that 8% of maternal deaths are attributed because when people are giving birth, they have exposure to dirty, stagnant water during pregnancy. It leads to typhoid, dysentery, amoebas taking over their body. This dirty water is the only water they have. And when you give birth, you must be washed.
Yeah.
And it gets that. It hurts the babies. It hurts everyone.
Yeah.
And so after I read this, I do what I do. I sat and thought about it, and then I called Richard and I said, "Hey, we got to do the BirthPOD." So this is the infographic for the BirthPOD right here. Can you all see my screen here now? Let's see here. Hold on. Okay, it says full. Okay, I got full screen. No. Okay, wait. Share.
Yeah, entire screen or certain part of certain program. Like a
It says
specific
share
window.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. What am I looking at here?
Yeah.
Okay, share your screen. All right. Okay.
Yeah, entire
All right,
screen.
let me get out of
The
this.
easiest way, entire screen.
Here. Okay, share your entire screen.
Yeah.
Share.
Then we can see whatever you see there.
Okay. All right, and let's go over here. Okay, can you guys see that?
Nope.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I got it. I didn't
Okay.
press on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You
Now
need
you
to.
got
Yeah.
it.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The BirthPOD. Kepler
Whoa,
Sustainability
look at that.
Cooperative Association. Kepler Sustainability Cooperative Association and PyraPOD Global Inc. presents an affordable.
Can you zoom in on a bit on your own screen, or maybe?
I'll try to
Yeah.
zoom in.
Oh, you know what? We can
Hold on.
zoom on our own screens actually. As well.
Yes. There's a two options. Yeah. One is the.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
using.
okay.
That's a
All
little.
right.
Or,
Is that too much? Zoom.
not
Okay.
sure.
Let me zoom back out here.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
there's actually a
That's
way
about-
to display entire screen without the border. The
Yeah.
browser.
Yeah.
In
Without
my
the
case,
browser.
it's F11 to but
Hold on. Hold on here. Let's see.
and there's
Now, I don't want to
also-
press that. No, I can't press the F11, man. My computer might explode, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I'm using Chrome. Chrome.
Yeah. I don't know if that'll work for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you all see this at all?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we see
can
it.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see
Okay.
it.
The words might be kind of blurry, but I'll read them for you. It says, Kepler Sustainability Cooperative Association and PyraPOD Global Inc. presents an affordable solution to the unsanitary situations often faced by women giving birth in the global south. The totally clean, temperature-controlled, food and fresh water generating BirthPOD.
Yeah.
D-latrine, antimicrobial coated support support shell doubles as a safe and sanitary birthing stool. So you see the lady there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's sitting on there.
Yeah.
This is the D-latrine right here. The afterbirth added to the D-latrine sanitation station and bioconverted into plant nutrients.
Yeah.
Here's another little info bubble right here. Fresh, clean water. created by plant respiration and condensation for birthing sanitation needs. And of course, that's pointing right inside there where all the plants are right there. Down at the bottom, it says mandatory cleaning via the BityPOD shower module assures cleanliness for everyone before entering the BirthPOD. And down at the bottom, the very last thing, the mother's leaving, where it says 3, happy mother and child leaving in good health with sustaining and revitalizing herbs grown on site. Grown on site. Okay. So I'm going to send this over to you, Aubrey, so you can put this anywhere you want to, man.
Good.
All right. And we can start letting people know, you know, about, you know, about the, you know, really what it's all about here, you know. You know, Richard and I we've addressed this a lot, you know, finding a way to get the PyraPOD technology, you know, sneaking in under their noses, you know, let them come in and particularly let the women experience this.
Yes.
You know, and then, you know, once the women experience this, man, it's all over. They want a house like this now.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's going to be a totally different thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, for everyone once that happens.
Yeah.
You know. So let me turn this off here.
Yeah.
Get back to you all. Okay.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
yeah.
wonderful.
Get back. So you know, it's all in the Joy Initiative. You know, we're trying to find some way to, you know, let people know that, you know, I mean, just by giving this to someone, you know, you have a joyful feeling. You know, knowing that you're helping the children.
Yeah.
And you're helping women. You know. And you're creating a whole different situation for people in the global South, and that's what I'm calling it the global South. I'm not going to call it the developing world anymore.
Good idea.
Because there's some ways that they're more developed than we are, and I will tell you how. One of the ways that they're more developed than we are. Do you all know that they raise their babies with no diapers? African women communicate with their baby. They communicate. They're able to communicate. They examine the baby's face and the way the baby wiggles, and the tone of the baby's crying, and they communicate with the baby, and the baby lets them know when it's time for them to go. Yeah. And the baby. I read an article where there was a guy who was a European guy, and he was doing some type of outreach there. You know, I don't know whether it's food or medicine or whatever, and there was tons of women in these lines in front of him, and they almost had babies. And he would see them leave and come back, and when they would come close to him and he would give them whatever he was giving them, he noticed that the babies, none of them had diapers, but there was no soil, no poop all over the place. And he made the mistake, right? He made the mistake of what many Europeans make. He said, hey, ladies, how come there's no diapers? They said, well, we don't need diapers. He said, well, why? How do you know when your baby needs to go? And they looked at him like he was crazy and said, how do you know when you need to go?
That's right.
This technology, the D-latrine, helps with this natural form of dealing with the sanitation of children. Yeah. You know, right now the women have to go into this horrible. They have to go outside where the snakes and the scorpions and the mosquitoes and the flies get them. You know, or they go into these horrible pit latrines where you could fall in there, drop your baby in, and fall in yourself. You know, it stinks in there. It's very terrible. And if you can imagine being a baby, you don't want to go in there. Yeah. You know, that would be the worst place. You know, let's say you're 2 years old now, and your mommy says, "Okay, we're going to the pit latrine." You're like, I don't want to go to the pit latrine, right? Yeah. You know, so we're bringing something, you know, with the D-latrine, particularly the D-latrine inside of the SaniPOD, where now, particularly for women and children, we have cracked the code of having a way to make sure that SolaRoof technology will be beloved. See, that's where it has to happen. SolaRoof technology needs to be beloved. Yes. You know, there needs to be sections of the society that will go to the men and say, look, this SolaRoof is happening. All right. We're not going to put up with anything less now. We go now to we used to go to pit latrine. Now we go to SaniPOD. And that's wonderful. You've got flowers growing in there.
Yeah.
It's temperature controlled.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It has water.
Yeah.
You know, and when I give birth, I go to the BirthPOD. And now they come home to their husbands, and then their husbands have to go to the leaders and say, hey, look, you know, my women and children, they won't leave me alone. All right. we have to institute the SolaRoof technology now so I can go home and make some more babies. Because if I don't, no more babies, okay? So you know, this is the Joy Initiative, you know, like I said, it's the sneaky way to sneak it in, you know, to make sure that they experience the technology in a way. And then let's face it, this is a way for them to experience the technology when they are the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And when you save someone when they're the most vulnerable,
yeah,
they become your friend forever.
Yes. Yeah.
They become your friend for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you read Cedric, you read the brown paper altogether, right?
Yes.
So you understand the money making aspect of this, you know.
Absolutely.
And with the BirthPOD, it's just so much increases, you know. A woman will excrete about 2.5 to 3 pounds of blood, you know, from the uterus that surrounds the baby, blood and afterbirth. Yeah. And we just take that and we put it into the dealer train, and the black soldier flies will consume that.
Yeah.
And that is filled with wonderful nutrients.
Yeah.
You know, wonderful nutrients. And so we take that upstairs and we put it on the plants growing there. You know, and so what the situation is that that'll be so self-sustaining. You know, be able to sell, you know, plants. You know, there'll be some excess plants because things are going to grow so richly with that rich nutrition that we're giving them. You know, and so we're giving people. We're doing not what all the NGOs have been doing. We're actually giving people something that will sustain them. This is not a situation of charity. This is you give someone a fishing pole and take them to the lake. You know, that's what we're doing. You know, and it's been too much. The charity thing is, if you do it a little bit, it's fine. If it's an emergency, you know. But if you keep doing it, it gets to where you're now interfering with the dignity of human beings.
Yeah.
You know, it gets to a really bad point. You know, and I want us to be on the cutting edge to turn it over, turn something to something new. You know,
the African nations have stated that they don't want charity; they just want food and help. That's the way to go, and that's what they will praise.
Yeah, self-reliant.
And that's why I think we should present that as a solution to the nations, that instead of sending out money, sending out project packages, because much of the money don't go to the to where it gets cut off by corruption and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and Iceland actually has been leading in such initiatives to not send money, but to build schools and drill for water and such, and following up on the projects, not just sending out money and that just goes into a black pit.
Well, fortunately, Richard has created the perfect technology for that. Perfect technology for that, you know, to give to people and let them grow, you know, let them create, let them flourish, you know, and to stop all the merry-go-round. Because when, you know, of course, if you're depending on people's handouts, that means that one day when they don't like you, they just let you starve, you know.
Or a situation like the pandemic and people, nations become more just thinking of themselves than the handouts are like that's you know, we will help ourselves, and if we can we will, but probably we won't.
Yeah. So where are we, man? What who have you spoken to in the government, and how you think we should move along with this? Do we put together a proposal for them, or what do we do?
I think we should. A demonstration video would be of a great help, along with some good core text with all the keywords and the slide presentation. Right. And I think it would be a strong claim to to have before even meeting with the top officials to have a meeting with kind of interested parties here in Iceland, like the forestry and the blockchain foundation and those who are kind of in the area, and get them on our board before we kind of present this as an opportunity to the government, and that will of course also.
So you're saying we should form a government, we should form a coalition with other like-minded people before we even go to the government itself. Is that right?
Well, essentially that would be best, but it's not essential. I think it would be also, it's just having opening up a dialogue, because here in Iceland everything is so connected. So if we have a meeting with the forestry, then the forestry is the governmental agency. So
yeah.
So it's like we first meet with the kind of with those agencies, whether it be public organizations or just private associations.
Yeah.
To get them kind of to get them to kind of certify what we're doing, so that we can, when we go to the government, we can point out that the forestry is on board if we go forward. So they think this is a good idea, because the politicians, they kind of, especially here in Iceland, the politicians, they listen to the specialists. So if we go to the specialist first before that, then I think that's always the best strategy. But
it sounds good.
Essentially, of course, we want to have a pilot here. So without a pilot, it's going to be a steeper hill, but of course it's possible. But a good presentation and a video could probably get us a long way.
Excellent. And then that leads to Cedric. I mean, Cedric, you read the brown paper, and you know, you're the resident of the expert of the, you know, of the animation, man. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. If we can, but who are we talking to? That's is it a broad communication? In this case, maybe we have to go deep into details to let people understand, because we are all here and we understand the technology, but people not so well.
Right.
And also, what I really like about what you did is that you bring something better than what already existing, and you create a sense of emergency. It's something that we have been missing with SolaRoof, or with, because the people don't see the emergency to have healthy food.
Yeah.
It's a mistake, it's an emergency, but nobody sees it, and nobody is ready to make the efforts needed to improve. But what you did is you took a problem, an existing problem, and you found the perfect solution for it. And if we can demonstrate that, or at least convince people that that it's the best solution, I think that's a good angle for both SaniPOD, but also for SolaRoof. Because as you mentioned, once the child has the lollipop, it's easy. And therefore, of course, I'm ready to make an animation. The question is how good does it need to be, and how detailed does it need to be? If it's high quality and long animation, then it will take time. If it's just explaining a few concepts, maybe a 2D animation to explain the concepts, and maybe some 3D elements to give a real vision, then it becomes a message. And this message can be sent to key people. I was reading about Mackenzie Bezos, the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, who's one of the most philanthropic women in the world. Maybe if we get the messaging right, these people could be interested. Because also what's great with your approach is that there's an economic value in it, and these people and sometimes they are real givers, but sometimes not so much. So both could be interested. So No, I really love what you did, and of course, if an animation is something that's needed, I'll do it with great pleasure.
So, Richard, how intricate do you think we should get, man, with the animation and the explanation and everything?
One of the benefit right now is that the PyraPOD 4 is the one we're using for SaniPOD, is the one that Cedric is currently animating. So that is helpful, you know.
Right.
That the animation we're currently involved with. When we look inside, you know, the structure, we haven't got much in there, sort of, to visualize.
Right.
So I think what we could then do is say, let's visualize what the SaniPOD would look like inside.
I also think that just very simply creating a kind of a timeline or a story where we visualize from where what was the problem with waste. We create which is a resource from where the poo is, and show all the steps where it transforms into an end product or products. So just creating that as simple as so a 5-year-old would understand that. I think that would be very, very influential.
Yeah.
I think that's from what you told me about your people, man, that's a very Icelandic, very practical way of looking at things. It is, you know, and I think it's very great, man. You know, a lot of times we can be caught up in the, you know, sort of the tech of it, you know, and when we need to show people what you get, you know, what's the outcome.
Why not think of it as a pitch deck, you know, as a short clip, you know, video and pitch deck that would activate the first investments. You know, you could take it to your, you know, gift economy people, you know, your gift entrepreneur, what do you call them? Giftpreneurs.
Yeah, the giftpreneurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can do some financial analysis, quantifications of the enrichment of the global South way of life, you know, of their actual economic benefit, because, you know, as you know, Gregory, last time we talked, I was calculating the numbers, and it's
the numbers,
it's staggering what this is worth, and you know. And actually, just earlier today, I was talking with Geraldine. You know, so we're out together driving and had some time. I was rambling on, you know, as I do, about how I'm, you know, working out the numbers, and I'm just like totally, you know, it's fascinating because you see, well, here's a good way to think about it, right? We know that the food industry is one of the biggest in the world, right? For example, Gregory, just the supermarket earnings in the United States. So it's retail food sales, right?
Yeah.
It's approximately $1 trillion. Okay.
Yeah.
U.S. alone, and you know, U.S. is what, 5% of population.
Yeah, and half that is Walmart.
And by the way, the U.S. actually spends about the least on its food. So everybody thinks, oh yeah, Americans spend very little on. No, they are actually paying the least. People in other countries pay much more.
Yes.
Actually, for their food than Americans, and certainly in proportion to their incomes and disposable income and so on. But anyway, the numbers. So we always think about the food supply. We eat it, right? But we never think about what comes out the other end. Because, you know, if you look at it volumetric, right, quantitatively, so you have a reduction of biomass, but it's not that significant, right?
Right.
That's what we eat every day, because we only pull out a certain carbs and nutrients out of our food, and the rest is flush, right? Now, what we're saying is, well, we don't flush. We don't. This becomes the feed to a biotechnology, a new biotechnology. I mean, everybody's looking for the next big thing. What's the next big biotechnology?
Right.
And like I've been saying to everyone, you know, Gregory, you hijacked me. I'm no longer focused on the food. I'm thinking all the time about this new opportunity because, you know, they say go after the low-hanging fruit, right? Go after what's really easy, and what Cedric was saying, this motivates people. This is something that people can understand it and really have an empathy. And we also, in the background, in the back of our heads, you know, minds, were saying, oh, we know we're polluting the world in the West. Well, we've got,
Right.
you know, and we've got utilities that are failing and costly, and we know they're still not, you know, doing good for the environment. So,
Of course, yeah,
we
man.
can relate to these issues, and but quantitatively. So let's say we eat a pound and a half of food a day. That's an average adult.
Right.
Pound and a half of food. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more. If it's really fresh living food, you can eat less and actually get all your nutrients. If it's a lot of junk food, you're gonna eat more actually. And but anyway, let's say it's a pound and a half. And Gregory has this other data point. The poop is about a pound per person per day. So again, more or less, children less, women less, men more, whatever. Anyway, let's just take that as a number and realize in a place like Ethiopia, with 112 million people,
Yeah.
90% of them have no sanitation.
At all.
They don't flush. They don't have toilets indoors. They just don't have sanitation. And their majority, big majority, is still in the country. Right? And they're living in their villages and in their farms and their small farms. And they're also projecting a mass movement to cities, which will be horrible. It'll be slum, and the city dwelling expected to expand by 3 times in the next 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's what we could head that off, you know. So if you take 80 million people, so say 112 million, so let's say 80 million have 80 million pounds of food per day. Well, if you convert that into our larvae, right? Because the larvae will do that job day in, day out. People will go and the larvae will do their job, and that's it. So this is a staggering number. And valuing only at $1 a pound. The economic value of this is $3 trillion per year. Can you believe it? $3 trillion. Come on. This is enough for a country, the global south, and really the whole world to, well, actually, so that's 80 million people. So the global population is 8 billion. If you just extrapolate, the global economic value is 3 centrillion. Sorry, 3 quadrillion. Dollars value per year, right? And that's real value. Like, that's enriching, right? Because that comes back to you, not just that that's the value, that's regenerative all the time, right? This is compound money, compounding all the time, right? Building up wealth, right? Because it doesn't go away. It comes back to you in food, and you're going, and you're that's the beauty of a regenerative economy, right? Is it's very strong. It's not like you consume, you destroy whatever you got something to consume, you destruct it.
It's a circle.
The way,
Yeah,
and you're searching, you're searching again, right, for more to consume more. So this is a different experience that people would have.
Yeah.
An economy that's local, circular, and they will have all of this resource to grow their fish. The fish poop grows the plants. These larvae are perfect for feed for animals, all kinds of animals. Probably Paleolithic diet, 50% was animal, 50% plants. Now we have 70% is processed food, about 14-15% is meat, and then a small portion is actually plant. You know,
Right.
and we know most of our food, or majority at least, should be, you know, plant source food. So, you know, and when we say animals, we mean healthy animals. You know,
Right.
organic animals, not what we get now. We don't mean feedlot animals. That would be horrible. Paleolithic diet was fish and small animals, larger animals. You know, a whole variety.
And you have to chase them and catch them.
Yeah.
So it was a whole different thing, man.
So, you know, the economics of this are absolutely incredible. So what you would end up with is some micro entrepreneurs who operate the SaniPODs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the micro entrepreneurs. Then they have a cooperative hub.
Mm-hmm.
They operate in order to do the biotech aspect. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Where they get the eggs, they get the flies, lay the eggs, they get the eggs, they bring it back to the individual SaniPODs. You know, at the SaniPOD, there's nothing going on very much except you harvest these larvae.
Yep.
People go in, they poop, you harvest the larvae. And then we may add, you know, an operator could think of ways to increase the income and do some other business on the side, you know, charging phones, anything.
Your tech is so sublime, man, that anyone that comes up with, people will come up with crazy ideas, man.
Oh, yes.
I mean, within about 5 years of deploying this, there'll be some crazy stuff that we never would have thought of, man.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this is
particularly in China. China will come up with some really outrageous stuff, man.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
What I was figuring is, you see that then you're going to have at least about 8 million enterprise hubs surrounding the biotech aspect, and around those hubs you have some 30, maybe 40 million of micro entrepreneurs in this, you know, sanitation business, right? And this sanitation business replaces all of our sewage and utility systems, right? Which are actually completely unsustainable. No benefits out of it, you know, environmental damage all the time, and you know, it's just hidden, right? It's always a hidden thing. And if the people who don't have sanitation ever adopted our method of sanitation, actually, it would be destructive, just like when they adopt our food, right? If they're going to adopt our food, they're going to die.
They're going to die.
So same thing with the sanitation, it's a non-starter. So we have to rely. And this is an interesting thing, you see. So the West, the North, can rely on the global South to get the right answer for this, because their position, they have not adopted all of the ignorant and wrong-headed ways that we have historically done, that are extremely damaging. So here is a community that's positioned, that has still their communion with nature, you know, and their presence in the environment, right? They're rural people still on the land. So then, you know, because in the West, you know, people in the city now, all they want to do is get the hell out. So
everybody's leaving.
How do we get back to the land properly? Well, we learn from the global South. We learn from the indigenous people. We learn from Aboriginal people. So that is a perfect cooperative alliance, right? That's an alliance between the polluters, the principal polluters of the world, the wealthy countries, and the countries that are not yet in that economy, that consumer economy.
Right.
You know, I like to talk about, actually, you know, I've always been unhappy with this developing world, second world, third world, all that, you know, bullshit. I like to think about, I don't know, the consumer economies and the producer economy. So what we've got in most of the world is still in a producer economy, but we wealthy people are now in the consumer economy.
Consumer economy.
And
that's right.
Yeah, totally. You know, we're now addicted.
Wait a minute, man. That's so telling, because when our politicians say they want to rev up the economy, they tell us to go consume.
Yes.
But in the global South, when they tell them to rev up the economy, they tell you go work.
Go work.
See, that's a very interesting point there, man.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And that's part of the exploitation, right? That is the extension of colonialism and you know, the absentee landlords, the overlords, and the extractive process, right?
Right.
So, yes, we want the large majority to be producers who are very poor, and a consumer population that's actually with a token wealth in any case, you know, not necessarily real wealth, but at least in those dollars, you know, wealth, we look very rich. So,
yeah, we do, but we're not. we're not as rich as they think we are.
It's all out of balance.
Yeah.
And our goal,
balance.
this is what Aubrey and I, we talk about all the time, is this rebalancing. It's the east-west, it's the yin-yang, it's
Right.
humans with nature, you know, reconnecting and building harmony.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah, so if we can get this across to philanthropic people that we're positioned to do this work. Gregory, you're the champion for this whole thing. You know, you're the one pitching. You know, we're your support.
Yeah.
We're going to mobilize production in China.
Yeah.
And China's
Well,
going
I want to ask a question with Aubrey about that, particularly. Aubrey, were you aware of this connection between Iceland and China, and what sort of advantage do you think that could be for us in this?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just today I mentioned to Richard, you know, I felt that somehow I got called. You know, I need to go back to China. You know, talk to the superior leader, you know. You know what I mean? But how do you go there, right? Because you need to have a route. So, you know, I think this project is perfect. I think we should move fast, you know, not just, you know, we should do it not according to the normal process, right? We know this is, you know, this is urgent, right? I feel the urgency, right? So somehow I feel that if you know, if we can move faster, you know, and Richard and I can fly to, for example, Iceland, you know, talk to someone, right? I like to even meet, you know, Chinese embassy there, you know, so that way I can just, you know, from there and then and you know, tell them we're gonna bring this technology, you know, to China, okay?
Right.
Because they need it too, you know.
Right.
Yeah, you know, you talk about Africa. I grew up on the countryside. You know, I know what it's like countryside.
Right.
Right. You know, we have the same pit. You know, you know.
It's like the pit latrine.
Huh? Yeah. I mean,
the pit latrine in China in the.
Oh
in
yes.
the
I mean, while I was young, right? I even killed chickens and threw them into the pit. You know.
What?
And, yes, I did that. You know, I got beaten by my mom for that. You know. So I was bad. I know. Because
so do you think there could be an advantage of, once this kicks off, of having it's like, let's say if Iceland is jumping on board this, do you think that there could be a situation where someone high up from Iceland could go to someone high up in China and say, hey, this is what we're doing, you know, since you have the communication, you know, going.
For some reason, I feel that I need to, you know, go bring this to China myself, you know.
Okay.
Not just this, not anything else, because this is very relevant, right? This is you know, China has the same problem. It's so, you know, so many population, right? Look at the population there, and the same problem. How do you process this human waste, right?
Right.
I mean,
and China has bad soil too. There's a lot of bad soil in China, right?
And I, as a chemist, I know they use chemicals simply, right? They just follow the West, right? You know, they don't use the natural way. Now we have a natural way, And as a black dragonfly actually is not new to China, right?
Right.
But how do you manage? Because I already watched a video in Chinese. I learned about black dragonfly because I didn't know the Chinese name. Once I dig out, I know. Oh, okay. Oh, I already watched this, right?
Yeah.
But they know they use it to consume the kitchen scrap, right?
Waste. Yeah.
Yeah, but human waste, they haven't done it, right? But I think this is something we could. I think China will love it.
Yeah. No, I mean, nobody's done it. I've studied China. They're doing it all over Europe, and it's all kitchen waste.
Yeah.
Or it's like brewery waste.
Yeah.
Or it's like some type of garbage of some sort. But
yes,
these creatures were created by God to consume human waste.
That's right.
Especially.
That's the point.
Human waste is what they were created for. And you know how I know this?
Yes.
I know this because I read a study early, when I was doing my research into this.
Yeah.
Some people were feeding black soldier flies to chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And the chickens were loving them.
Yeah.
And they said, well, what can we do to try to enhance this?
Yeah.
And so they added something called bacillus bacteria. And bacillus bacteria, they added it, and then they put it on the feed, and they noticed that the black soldier flies were consuming it.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, wait a minute, why would black soldier flies want to consume this particular type of bacteria?
Yeah.
And then I studied what this bacteria is. The bacillus bacteria is the foundation of all soil. That's when you say you have bad soil.
Yeah.
The foundation is this bacteria.
Yeah.
And so then I said, well, where does this bacteria come from? Well, the bacteria is known in the soil. Yeah. And it's known in the guts of mammals. Mm-hmm. Like the roaming animals, the four-leg roaming animals, the deer, cow, sheep, all that.
Yeah.
It's in there. It's obviously designed for the animals to walk and kaplop. You walk, kaplop, and that's how it spreads. But the animal that has the most bacillus in the gut is human beings.
Yes.
Human beings have more bacillus than any other creature, and so that's why there's studies now that said that when you feed black soldier flies human poop, they grow faster. Yeah. They get more nutrients packed more inside of them.
That's right.
And when people first noticed black soldier fly, it was around the pit latrines, and people wrote about them. They called them privy flies because they used to call the pit latrines the privy for private. The privy. And they noticed these flies would be all over the place. And then all the maggots would be down there inside of it. That's when they first noticed them, like in Mark Twain days. 200 something years ago, they first started writing about them. And so what I did, I put two and two together, and then I decided, the reason why people are not utilizing them because we need a major revision of sanitation. We need something that's going to be easy for you. You have to house the black soldier flies.
Yes.
You have to have a protective coating around the black soldier flies.
Yeah.
You have to have a way where it's easy for people to deal with the black soldier flies.
Yes.
And where people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Doing this, and that's what the dealertrine actually is. And I mean, the connections, the synergy is just so fantastic because, of course, you have to have a small way connection to it to make the when it gets too cold or when it gets too hot, you have a way to cool down or heat up, and that's what I put on my creation. I have a small way to do that. But if you put it inside of a SaniPOD, this is totally controlled, know. And then on top of that, the place where you have to grow the flies, it must be temperature controlled.
Yes.
It must have good sunlight, but not too much sunlight.
Yes.
And it must have plants.
Yeah.
This is so Richard created the very best thing for the breeding and the propagation of this technology.
Right.
Like I said, the synergy is just incredible, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Between our technologies.
So,
and I think everybody will benefit, man.
So I do have a technical question. I wanted to ask, since we met actually first time. I know you use the baby worm, right, to eat the poo, right?
Yeah, real
And-
it's real little when you put them in there, but they
because
grow
that's
fast.
how they grow, right?
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
you have a second place, right? Separate, right?
That's
It's
the
a kind of
worms are
a
in there.
to cultivate, to produce more babies, right? And then
No. That produce worms.
huh?
That produce red worms.
Oh no! I'm talking about the other
Oh,
thing.
the second place, the other place
Okay.
outside there.
I mean,
Eggs.
no, I'm talking about reproduction.
Oh yeah, the egg. Yeah, that's where you have a SolaRoof. Well, probably you'll have a PyraPOD 8, and
Yes.
that's where you will grow them.
That would be the enterprise hub. That would support
Uh-huh.
a number of SaniPOD
Hmm.
operators. So the individual SaniPOD operator will get his eggs and just put them in the culture,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
and then they'll weigh the larvae. You know, when
Yeah.
they're self-harvest, right? When they get big enough, they crawl out.
Yeah.
So every day you're going to have certain larvae pick up or sent to the collection, right?
Yeah.
This is where you get in the biotech business sector.
Mhm.
Yes.
So these individual operators are entrepreneurs within a new biotechnology
Yeah.
sector, and it's dealing with
It's called sanitation microfarming.
sanitation.
That's the name of it. The sanitation microfarming, a brand new. I mean, you read it right, sir. You know, it's a new. It's taking old stuff all over the place that people's just laying around and put it together in a way where now you have industry.
Yeah.
And before SaniPOD, before I met Richard, I was consigned to the global south because they cannot exist here or there, or they can't exist anywhere year round where we are. They have to be warm, you know. So now that we have the SaniPOD, SolaRoof technology enables us to take this literally anywhere. I mean, according to Richard, even Eskimos could do it, right, Richard?
We will.
Yeah, everywhere.
Wow.
It's interesting you name Eskimos because when we began meeting with Icelandic officials, there is one guy, our ex Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was the one who actually facilitated the free trade agreement with China, and what he's doing now is actually kind of strengthening the connections and creating new deals between Greenland and Iceland. And this is a guy that I can. I will requested a meeting with him.
That's fantastic. Oh, another thing, the type of political things that could be put to rest. There are very, very intractable political issues here that we could lay those things to rest. If we want, there's a lot of right-wing people who are trying to say we don't want poor people from the South coming to us. We don't want them in our country. We could unite them with the left-wing people because we will give people not a reason to stay home. Home will be prosperous for them. They won't have to go and leave and get on boats where they might die.
That's the point.
Getting to Europe,
Yes,
I mean, if is Belgium a place where a lot of the people from the global south sneak into the country? Am I right about that, Cedric?
It's more like a transit country because they want to go to the UK, but they risk their lives, and especially young boys risk their life to go to UK. So yes, that's a real problem, and I think exactly what you said. The best solution is to give them a good reason to stay home because most of them they don't want to leave home. They have to.
That's right. Yeah. Just help them to be wealthy, right? To be self-reliant at their own place. Then they don't want to go, right? To go. So that's the point. Yeah.
I mean, same thing for people coming from the southern part of the U.S. too.
That's right. Yeah.
Those
Mexican.
same
Sure.
thing.
Yeah. Indeed.
It's all the same thing.
Yes.
There's always a way when you have intractable problems,
Yeah.
you know, that cause people to do nothing but bicker, fight forever, what you need to do, you need to innovate. You have to have
That's
innovation
Yeah.
to overcome it and make the problem not, you know, so big anymore.
Yes.
You know, that's what you have to have. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not European, but you all can tell me because you're from Europe. But it seems to me that this problem of the immigrants is something that will tear Europe apart.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if it's not dealt with, you know, it's
That's right.
something that, you know, I've even heard that even some Nordic nations that used to be very open are now saying, "You people go home."
Yeah.
I think somebody was saying Syrians go home or something like that. Am I?
The socialists in Denmark, they are closing. But what's happening now is that they are kind of opening they're closing the borders. But if you want to apply to enter the country, you must do it off seas. So you cannot just go into the country like you could. But actually, Iceland is, I think, most open. But that might change. And of course, because of this COVID situation, it's much harder to get to this, especially Iceland, of course, because we're an island nation.
Yeah.
So
I mean, fellas, this goes everywhere. I mean, this will affect terrorism. It will affect, you know, people rising up in revolutions against governments, you know, both in Europe and, you know, in the global South. I mean, you have to give them some hope and some prosperity, some industry,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so that they want, you know, people engage in these things. They don't just come up with like, I just want to strap a bomb and just go here and do this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they don't do that, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing for people who are on the right wing in European countries. You read the paper and you see some desperate person from a global South somewhere. He
Yeah.
did something. It
Yeah.
really doesn't represent his whole culture.
Yeah.
He's an individual who did this,
So
right?
so
But you're looking at something that represents someone when the answer is not what you think. It's not putting that person in jail and it's not closing the borders.
Gregory.
Keep the borders open.
hey,
Yeah.
Gregory,
Yes.
you should bring this matter to UN. I think this is a global issue, right?
It is.
Like for example, you know, to the rich people, you tell them don't take any immigrant. Instead of
Right.
taking immigrant, hey, you can use the money, right? And then to for some help a project, you know, within a poor country, right? Wherever that you know the immigrant comes from, right?
Right.
They want to, you know, but instead invest that money back to the poor country, you know, make them rich, right? They don't want to leave their home, right? You see the point? I think this is. I think we should do bigger things. You know, we should bring this project to the UN level. You know.
The problem with a lot of the global institutions and countries is that their judgment, their understanding is corrupted.
Yeah.
And this corruption is largely coming out of the vested interests of corporations who right now control and extract these products. So you know, big oil, big energy,
big ag,
big agribusiness. All of these kind of businesses that are still the legacy of colonialism.
Right.
And, the UN programs largely promote the success of companies like Monsanto and so on.
Yeah.
Agra in Norway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's the problem. So what we need is grassroots activism where we mobilize demonstration projects that we show the irrefutable evidence that we have a way that works, whereas the other methodology have been failing, and now they reach a point of crisis where we face global emergency because the expertise is not expertise. The expertise are gatekeepers that keep things the way they are.
That's right.
And there's the problem. So we're going to counter that when we talk with government, when we talk with UN, we talk with organizations, even trade organizations, even farmers, as we say, we're not actually going to find maybe an alliance with the food industry as it is,
right?
Because we recognize that the food they're producing is unhealthy and not environmentally sound, not sustainable, etc. So we don't want to make people into enemies or anything like that. But
right. Yeah.
Recognize that initially they'll be scared.
Well, I mean, RB, he's making the point, man. We have to be very careful. We have to do it the way. There's a man who I greatly admire, because I'm from the journalism world. Okay, I'm from the journalist world. Okay, that's where I started my whole thing from. All right.
Okay.
Gutenberg, the guy who invented the printing press. All right, he gave people the means to overthrow the king. The kings used to, if there was anything, any information, which controlled people's thoughts, he controlled all of that. This man, he created a way to do a decentralized information machine. That's really what a printing press is. It's a decentralized information machine. You can, if you find one printing press, you can burn it and destroy it and maybe shoot the guy that's printing with it. But the knowledge of the printing press is going to keep going on, and they're going to keep printing until finally they throw up their hands and say, you know what, we're going to just stop trying to burn all these printing presses down. But he couldn't go to the king and say, King, look, I have a device that's going to overthrow you. He couldn't do that. He had to be sneaky with it. He had to. What I'm saying, we have to. Slowly but surely. And then this is what's going to happen, Aubrey, in terms of the United Nations. What's going to happen is people are going to rise up and they're going to demand what they experience in SolaRoof technology, by, the SaniPOD, the BirthPOD, and they're going to demand this to be a broader part of their life. Yeah. And therefore, if you have millions of people demanding all these things, it comes to a point where they can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Me, you, Richard, go to the UN, they're going to push a trap door on us, right?
Well,
okay.
It's just in general. You should never try to fix or enter an existing system which is already corrupt. We must create new system, prove it is.
Yeah, we have to demonstrate. Yes,
and do it like Richard said, from the grassroots, and then people will awaken and enter the new system, and then it will grow and outdate the existing system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But just to add my 2 cents, but the problem with this strategy is that we need money to communicate, and unfortunately nowadays communication is we need to pay for communication. And I mean by that, if you just post something on the social media, you will not reach a lot of people. If you really want to reach a lot of people, you have to have money to communicate. So of course you can do some kind of buzz, but the people who really make buzzes, I don't know how you they have money to promote their own buzzes, because it's a compounding effect, and you need to start it, and you need money for that, and that's always the complicated stage, because you have to earn a critical mass, and if you don't have this critical mass, you will maybe not have the communication effect you are looking for.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys? Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Man, what did I do?
Well, you have to share something, because you're sharing. You're sharing.
Okay.
The entire screen. That means
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I on screen now?
Yeah.
You guys see me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cedric, I have the answer to that problem right here. This is a group of people that I've been dealing with for quite some time, and they are ready with they're about to release the answer to that problem right there. These people are very much a part of my whole strategy of how to get the word out to people, and how to and how to overcome these problems. And it's called the Safe Network. Here it is. These are some guys from out of Scotland. And what they've done is they've invented a network it's sort of like blockchain, but it's not blockchain. It's a different type of thing. And what they built is they built a decentralized information sharing network that no one can censor, no one can track you down and find out who you are unless you want them to track you down. And it works in a beautiful way. The Safe Network works by you uploading information that you want to the Safe Network. And what the Safe Network will do is it will take your digital information and it will break it into a million pieces and scatter those pieces of information all the way across the internet on the hard drives of other people who donated part of their hard drive to the Safe Network. So if you have 10 gigabytes of information that you want to be safe, you have to give the Safe Network 10 gigabytes of room on your hard drive.
Okay.
And the software will create a siloed part of your hard drive that nobody can get into. You don't even know what's in there at all. Nobody can break it. And even if they did break into it, all it would be was millions of pieces of information that nobody can put. This like scrambled egg. So once you put this up, you can go to any computer, put your credentials in, and then all of your information will come back like the reverse coming back of sand coming into your computer. And now everything that you hid from people is now in front of you, and you just push the button, it goes back out again, back out into the world. That's good. That's very good. But the way the financial way this works is that you get safe. It's run by something called SafeCoin. The Safe Network is run by SafeCoin.
Okay.
And how it works is if you have more information than what you have to give up from your hard drive, you have to buy SafeCoin in order to upload this extra information. The SafeCoin, once the SafeCoin gets into the network, these brilliant people, no one monitors the Safe. The Safe Network is monitored sort of like by an artificial intelligence. And so the SafeCoin that gets uploaded, the only thing that SafeCoin does is pay people to upload whatever you want to upload. And if you put a video, or you can put a book up there, or let's say you put information, like a documentary or something like that.
Yeah, I have 14 books.
Right. Well, the Safe Network will count how many people come to watch your video or read your book. It will count that, and it will give you SafeCoin automatically based on how many people come there.
Wow, this system is nice.
This will enable, if you are a whistleblower, you need to tell on people who are doing bad things. You'll be able to upload whatever this is to this network. They will never find you unless you do, unless you mess up and they just figure out who you were. They will never find you. All right. They will not able to censor anything. Okay, they can't take anything down. Aubrey. China's wall against internet.
Yes.